artillery changes, buffs to old tanks, new Cold War premiums. There's loads of content for today's update news for World of Tanks console, and we're going to check that out now. The first thing that we're looking at in today's news video is, of course, this week's information as of the recording of this video, which is that there was a new World War II premium that entered into the game, and we have got Wargaming's official numbers on this being 54% win rate, well, 53.9% to be exact, and that's over 20,000 battles played in this premium tier 10 tank. I have deemed it overpowered in my own personal opinion. It is a pay-to-win tank that Wargaming have clearly released that is basically just better than the majority of the tech tree tanks that you can buy. It's essentially an SU-130 PM at tier 10 that is the same sort of level tier for tier as that tank, which was already very, very strong. And so at tier 10, being able to deal 950 alpha damage in 13.8 second reload, it's unbelievable. It's a tank that I really think was negatively impacting the game, and hopefully, just hopefully, not too many of you buy this tank because it is very, very OP, to be honest. And yeah, of course, let me know what you think about the SU-152 Taran now that it has actually been in the game for multiple days, or well, like 6 days now. So let me know in the comment section down below, and of course check out some of the actual gameplay of this at the end of this video, where you can actually take a look at this thing in action, and I'll link that at the end. In addition to the World War II premium, we also had the Cold War Western Alliance heavy tank / various different already developed tanks on World War II, which included the T-34, the M103, and the kind of king M103, if that makes sense, which is the M103A2. They've all been released. Basically, they're kind of just above average win rate, to be honest, and because they are very first introduced into the game, typically the better players have paid their way to be able to get the tank, and therefore the win rates are usually a bit skewed. They'll probably come down and adjust to a similar sort of rate. I don't know how OP they are or how terrible they are. I'm not sure. I haven't played, and of course you can let me know in the comments if you have decided to go down and try and pick up these tanks yourself. Then we got the contract for the Centrifuge. We got the Slapjack contract coming out very soon as well. We've also had the premium bonus, which if you haven't watched the video on how you can take advantage of this OP event, which makes you so much silver and XP if you play tier 10 right now using the TVPT50 or the Panzerwagen or the STRV, playing at tier 10 using the premium bonus along with premium time and silver boosters and all sorts, you can literally get like 500% silver playing on World War II at tier 10 and making like 400,000 silver per game. And I really do hope you guys take advantage of this, and to be honest with you, it's probably better than playing Cold War premiums for the first time ever in terms of the amount of silver that you can make, but you do have to actually own these tanks right here, so make sure to go back and check out those videos if you're interested. I will link that as the other video at the end of this one that you can check out as well. Then we had the kind of the next premium bonus, which we will be able to get the Progetto 65, the Manticore, and the T110E5 line. So you get basically 50% more XP when you're grinding towards them. If you remember the on-track events that will be coming up in just a second, these are essentially like a better version of that, where you're getting 50% more XP when you're playing in them, and therefore you can progress much faster through the tech tree line and get to tier 10, where obviously most people try and aim for. And then we have had the Lead by Example challenge, nothing too interesting to be honest. We had spring sales where you can get premium time discount. So also I want to clarify that if you do not have premium time on the game and you want to invest like the £35, which is like what, $50, about 1 pint every night of beer, or every month even of beer, and so yeah, essentially if you play the game enough, it's definitely worth buying the 365 days of premium. Usually I don't really want you guys spending money on some of the wargaming products that they have, because I think sometimes they're very, very expensive, but if you do actually play the game, the best bonus you can ever buy on the game is premium time, and it's just got everything that you need really. And then you have the April challenge for the Guardian SGG that you can get, and tier 10 double silver, as we talked about in that video, with the premium bonus as well, so you can earn just a ridiculous amount of silver. Now then, it's time for the core of today's video, where we have the new Cold War Premium and the buffs and all of that information, and as well as the artillery changes as well. So the new Cold War Premium is a medium tank for the post-war era Western Alliance, so it's the T95E2. You can actually see this tank on screen right now. If you want to check out this tank, it is on screen right now. It's a tank that was in the game already, as with Wargaming's typical lazy kind of production of these Cold War / World War II new tanks that they always coin being new, although they've already developed them and they're just basically mismatching them over the different modes and then charging you for actually getting them. And yeah, this is basically, if you've ever played the T95E2, the tier 10 premium on the World War II version, that's what the tank is. Or alternatively, it's similar to that of the tier 1 LPC, which is the tier 8 premium that you can buy on World War II, and it's kind of like that double pumper. I don't know what the actual official stats of this tank are going to be. We'll check out the tank in depth in next week's video on it, where we can actually look at the information regarding it, play it, and give you a good review as to whether you should actually spend your money or whether you shouldn't, which is probably going to be the better option. But yeah, that is basically that tank. We've also then got the Italian Heavies tanks reforged and on track. So if you've ever played the Rinoceronte or you've ever played the Bisonte, all of the premium Italian Heavies are basically very lackluster. They have terrible DPM, which is really amplified on the console version, because if you've ever watched anything on the PC version, they're a little bit more competitive as compared to the console. And I think that is down to just the DPM differences and the changes that Wargaming keep implementing to these Italian Heavies and all of the new tanks that come into console. I think it can be definitely a bit of a problem. But yeah, alternatively, they also gave us the next reforged being still to be decided. So doesn't look like Wargaming have much plans after this event for them to release any more changes to any of the tier 10s or the tech trees. Don't know whether they'll then come out with a new one, or maybe they're just trying to like phase it down and now they'll just start producing the premium bonus operations where you can effectively get 1.5 times XP when grinding through these tech tree lines. Maybe they're like phasing out the buffs now and then moving on to just giving you flat out bonuses towards getting to the tier 10. Also, we got the Welcome to the Jungle Tiger 1 and Tiger 2 skin urns. So these are actually earnable skins and you can see them on screen right now. So effectively, they look pretty nice, to be honest. I think that Wargaming moving towards more cosmetics is a good thing for the game, because ultimately there's not that many cosmetics in the game, and I would have liked to see them. I think that they're really beneficial. If you've ever watched any of the kind of PC content, you can see exactly what kind of skins that they've got, and introducing those onto console, it's not really a negatively impacting anyone, and I think that they look cool. Gives you a bit more customization option, which is never a bad thing. So yeah, both of these skins look cool. Definitely the Tiger 2 skin looks better, and that's the one that I would personally buy if I was going to buy either of them or earn them or really go towards them. So yeah, that is those tanks. There's all a load of earn operation cosmetics as well, which will basically be just the emblems that you can get for Day of Human Spaceflight, which will be interesting for those of you that want to actually get some emblems. They're not that big in the game. You know, you can put them on your tank, go towards them if you want to. Don't necessarily play if you're not interested in trying to like actually play World of Tanks, because they're not worth it. Obviously, then we have the April challenge for the Guardian STG week 2. So there's 4 weeks. You have to, I believe, complete 3 of them to be able to get the tank itself, so you can have like a week off. Don't quote me on that, but I am pretty sure. Oh no, actually, I lie. Make sure to complete each week to get the free tank. I believe if you complete 3 of them, you will get 75% off the tank, which if you do only complete 3 of them, is probably worth buying the tank, because it will only be like 3,000 gold or something like that, which is like a couple of quid. So yeah, it's definitely worth it in terms of if you do only get the 75% off because you're busy or whatever it might be, that means that you don't complete all 4 different weeks for the Guardian STG, then yeah, I guess there's that. Also, there's the new season starting in 2 weeks, April 19th, and get all the spoilers in the next stream. So the next stream being on Friday next week, which will be somewhere in the region of like the 16th, I think, somewhere like that, which we'll be able to actually check out the information that Wargaming drop on the new season, which is going to be very, very interesting to see what they have for us and how they're going to go about the new season. There's some interesting miscellaneous content as well, and there is basically the new Radial Commands that are coming into the game. We've got them continually added into the game now, coming very, very soon, and those are the Cover Me, the Need a Target, Defend This Position, No Shot, all returning back to the radial menu, so we'll be able to actually use them properly. And so that's going to be really, really good for those of you interested in actually trying to communicate with your team, because right now there's very little useful commands. Yes, there's loads of different commands that you can say, or radial, like whatever, chat options basically, but not very many of them are actually tactical or able to communicate things very effectively. So getting that into the game is good. Looking forward to them coming actually back into the game, because of course it's typical Wargaming, they remove something and then add it back and be like, we want praise for being able to re-implement something that we already had. But there we go. And then we've also got some other information which is cool. This is where the Artillery 2.0 coming in. And that means that there are separate armour viewer values for Cold War and World War II in the next season release, which will be cool. We'll also see new community guides for maps, which have been created. There's plenty of different ones. Some of the console YouTubers have been making them. I'm probably not going to go into it. I don't really want to produce that many map guides. I feel like there's better ways of conveying the information, because watching a simple map guide is probably not going to make you that much better, and it's better to learn the basics and the actual tactics before you actually play than just watching a map guide. I think like there's some interesting things that you can definitely learn, but in my personal opinion, I didn't really ever watch map guides, and it was better to just actually watch how people play properly in a full-scale game, starting from start to finish. You'll learn a lot more than, maybe trying to show you the best position or whatever it might be. Then there's also new onboarded missions going into super tests, then focus testing, and that will be good. There's also a new incoming missile warning system, ST results, which is super test results. So that's definitely going to come in. Full damage being reduced in Cold War, which is definitely something we want to see. Creating a method for Season Pass upgrades, which will be coming. Artillery 2.0 testing is in progress. So this is what we talked about previously in the Artillery 2.0 video on the Artillery update that you can check out as well if you want to go back on the channel. It's Artillery update or something along those lines. And that basically talked about the ways in which artillery can be changed on World of Tanks console. And effectively, what I expect that they're going to do is reduce the alpha damage. One thing that you'll notice here that they said the US line is going to be focused on first. That means that the T92 artillery, the M53-55, the M40-43, all of the broken artillery basically, they're all going to get nerfed, I expect, in terms of their performance and being able to one-shot you, hopefully. Hopefully the splash damage gets reduced as well, because, being missed for 1,000 damage is absolutely toxic. So yeah, anything that changes with those will be good. I think that, the ability to one-shot things should be removed as well, because Wargaming themselves said the ability to one-shot tanks with the FV4005 was broken or not fair. Therefore, why the hell can you still do it in a tank that you can't even hit yourself when they can hit you and kill you from full health? Like, it doesn't even make sense. So hopefully that gets removed. Yes, there is a historical thing that if a artillery round was to hit a tank, it probably would blow up the tank. But then again, like, you've also got weird tanks that weren't even created literally driving alongside you. So yeah, it's not very historically accurate anyway. So it's meant to be a fun game, and artillery definitely, for the majority of players that play against them, are not fun to come up against. Now then, we also have World War II PvE about complete, and so that will come in probably in the next couple of months. No confirmed date from Wargaming, but there we go. And they've also fixed the co-op Pearl River platoons. Platoon members are no longer stacked after spawning in. And make sure to tune in next week, where they'll be looking over the Hellfire Pass, which is Scorpion Pass, for those of you who played World of Tanks before Update 6.0 and the reintroduction of the map. So hopefully we can actually see that in the game, because this has been in the background and you can actually play it in custom games, but it's not actually been in the actual game yet. And also we've got a load of questions that we can run through here because they're really interesting, and Wargaming released some interesting stuff. And there is, will there be any mercenary artillery? Nothing in the works, but that doesn't mean no. So they've basically said, I really hope that they don't come out with any more mercenary artillery, because yeah, they're usually pretty broken, the mercenary tanks. They've also got Nomonhon. Has there been any changes? Tune in next week and ASBAM 1500. So effectively, I think Nomonhon will come in with the next new season update, which is probably no brain box can work that out or whatever. You know, Nomonhon is most likely coming in with the next big season update, which is in like 3 weeks' time, or on the 19th of April. So that's looking interesting. The TCM AGS sale will be available, which is on April 26th, which is a Cold War premium. Trinity and Beach Party buffs, which will be part of next week's Reforged. New maps when released with the next major update in under 2 weeks. So there we go. Literally answered my own question there, or own answer there. Event for the KV4 KTTS, so there will be some new concept art for this tank and is a candidate for multi-turreted tanks. So Pain God, yet again, bringing up the multi-turreted tanks. We're yet to see any real information as to whether this is even a thing at the moment. Hopefully it is. For Cold War, and like the KV4 KTTS is still not going to be that good, even if you did have multiple turrets, but there we go. ATGM only platforms in Cold War as well. MBT 70 sale, so that is on May 24th. Sharpshooter contracts coming out on May 10th. Info on the minimap. First, the minimap would need to be made bigger, and that's being investigated, and last spotted location likely won't ever happen on console, which is kind of annoying. It's a good feature on PC. It's definitely beneficial for pretty much everyone. Gives you a bit more tactical prowess and that sort of stuff. It's more realistic, I think, in real life. Like, you would know where they were last spotted. Doesn't mean that they're necessarily still there, but yeah, information would be cool to see. But unfortunately, console won't be getting that from what I've seen. Theme of next season, there's hints everywhere from German commanders and leopards being mentioned. Last week's hint, so we're probably seeing the bare metal or something like that. I think from what Wargaming leaked last week. We're also seeing the FV4211 balancing. For where it's sitting is stats wise, it's looking pretty balanced, but there we go. That's exactly what Wargaming statistics usually say. Yeah, it's fine. It's not overpowered or anything. It's not literally the best heavy in the game, tier for tier probably, especially in the Cold War mode. It's not like it's just the top dog and nothing can actually take it out. Yeah, it's just, in my opinion, basically unbalanced. There's nothing that really counters this tank in terms of effectiveness, or like just... yeah, it's a typical Wargaming statement there. It's looking pretty balanced. It's not even like they're saying it's balanced. Next console exclusive World War II line. The next exclusive feature will be multi-turreted tanks sometime in the summer, but it won't be a full line. So we're probably looking at like tier 7 all the way up to like tier 10 or something in that region. You know, you're probably not looking 1 to 10 or 3 to 10 as it is now. Next, Ultimate Season Pass will be 6k gold, which we're going to have confirmed. Plans to add more premium RT. There are talks for this. Oh god, here we go. Another overpowered artillery, hopefully not. Can we expect a Cold War French line? Pain God sees a French escalation medium in the future and 14 tech tree tanks. Well, Skoda T56 in 2 weeks. Not in 2 weeks, but shortly after that. Hint, add half again and you'll be close, which is 3 weeks time, the Skoda T56, which was a video we did on the World of Tanks PC video where we looked at the Skoda T56, probably one of the most broken tanks, or at least premiums that Wargaming have released in a long time. Hopefully it's not as broken as it was on PC when the Czech Heavies came into the game. It's a double pumper. It can do 920 alpha in literally like 3 seconds. Yeah, it's just disgusting, to be honest with you. And you can check that out on the second channel. I'm not going to leave a link anywhere. You can just find it if you're actually interested in it. Otherwise, don't bother looking at it. And you can see the actual content when it comes out on console. And then 6th Sense and target info just be part of the game, freeing up skill and equipment slots, which would actually be really, really good. I think that 6th Sense would be a very, very good introduction to the game as standard, because it's just something that I feel like a lot of players don't know and don't realize how to use. Like, it could be just definitely something incorporated into the game, and I think that it would make builds that you can use on your tanks far more like kind of cool, and you can experiment a little bit more. So yeah, this is something I would actually like to see in the game, but Wargaming have said it's not planned at this stage. Of course, that's it for today's update news. If you want to check out anything, just go back over it. And of course, you've got loads of videos that you can look that we talked about, from the new World War II Premium Tier 10 Russian tank destroyer, the Su-152 Taran, all the way to that World of Tanks PC video on the Skoda T56, which you can have a look at if you're interested by going on the community tab of this channel, and you can find it there. But yeah, other than that, let me know what you think of this update. Let me know what you think of the next season, what you think is going to come with that. And of course, I hope that you join me in one of those videos on screen right now. Goodbye.